To eat or not to eat? That is the question. When I started working nights and even years later, I was never really sure if eating after coming home from work was a good thing or whether it would actually hinder my sleep. And I'm guessing you're having the same thoughts, so let's talk about it. When I get home from a night shift, I crave a warm breakfast type meal. Now my go-to is a bowl of oats with some chopped up banana and I drizzle some honey on top. I also really like having a warm drink, whether that be a chamomile tea or even just some milk heated up. This type of breakfast meal works really well for me because it doesn't give me any stomach pain or reflux, and I believe it really helps me sleep. This is in direct contrast when I visit McDonald's as a reward for finishing the next run of night shift and feel absolutely horrible when I get home. Yeah, I think we all know what I'm talking about. But should we be eating at all? I think this really depends on the lens you are looking at this situation through. If you're talking purely about maintaining a healthy weight, some suggest that eating just before you go to bed isn't a great idea because, as we know, our metabolism slows when we go to sleep. So you've just got all that food sitting in your stomach waiting to be digested. Also, when you're eating just before you go to sleep, you're probably watching TV or scrolling on your phone and you're distracted, so you may overeat during these wind down periods after we get home. If you didn't eat enough during your night shift or you didn't eat a meal before your shift even started, you're likely going to pig out just before you go to sleep because you're hungry. The other train of thought is that it's okay to have something small before you get into bed because your body still does require energy to sleep. So where does that leave us? It all comes down to our blood sugar levels. We don't want them jumping around constantly because this sets off a cascade of other stress responses which are not great for our overall health. How we can maintain consistency is by eating low GI type foods. These cause a slower and lower rise in blood sugar as the food is absorbed more slowly, keeping you feeling fuller for longer. But for me to recommend a blanket rule to everyone that you must eat when you get home from a night shift doesn't sit very well with me because you might have had a late break or a late dinner break during your shift for whatever reason, and when you get home, you're just not hungry and don't want to eat again. So therefore the decision ultimately sits with you. But before you go and skip the meal, I just want to tell you something. If you haven't eaten for hours and hours and you go to bed on an empty stomach, there is the possibility that your blood sugar levels are going to drop to a point that it triggers a stress response in your body, and this can be enough to wake you up, which is very frustrating. So if you are going to eat something when you get home, I've got a couple of rules that I try to stick to. One, incorporate low GI carbohydrates into my breakfast meal, whether this be grainy bread or porridge, they're my go-to. Then I like to add some sort of protein into the meal, whether this be Greek yogurt or you sprinkle over some chia seeds, or maybe you put some salmon on top of your grainy bread with some avocado. Secondly, I make a conscious effort to eat slowly and to chew my food for longer. This gives my body time to register that I've eaten enough, and I get these signals to say, put the spoon down, it's time to go to bed. This helps my waistline and stops me overeating. Thirdly, I try to incorporate foods which are naturally high in melatonin. Remember, this is our sleep hormone because I think we can use all the help we can get. Walnuts, kiwi fruit, bananas, cherry tart juice, you should add these to your grocery list. If you're still struggling to enjoy a really great day's sleep, you'll want to watch this video next. Thanks for watching and we'll see you at the next shift.